Okay.
Warming up, mic test. Test is running. If you are watching this recording of a live stream, know that we will start in a few minutes. So while we're manually resharing our link and inviting our friends to join us, feel free to jump forward or just watch us. Either's fine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. In the meantime, we'll try to keep talking to kill the dead air a bit. So, uh, this week's feel good fare is the Japanese series. What did you eat yesterday? Which is
Mm-hmm.
based on a manga of the same title, and it's so kawaii, for lack of a more appropriate term. It's very endearing, very low key. I feel like it's a how a lot of like Japanese storytelling is
Mm-hmm.
for these series. It's like why we like Terrace House.
Yeah.
Yeah, very very
It's
good.
like stuff we like from Terrace House and also stuff we like from Midnight Diner.
Oh yes, yes, that's true.
And not just because there's cooking,
But that is a bit of a
but the
significant
the
overlap.
glimpse of the glimpse of daily life
Yeah,
in a low key narrative. Because it's not like super drama.
yeah. It's not high drama.
It's
It's
not like, oh no, someone's gonna die or anything like that.
or
It's
or
just
things like happening left and right, and it's
mhm.
just
It's not like, I'm poor and I have to make a living.
mm
It touches on very nice elements without having to go
because
super dramatic.
because even things like character has a family member with a significant illness, and in a western show you could drag that out like for the rest of the season. That's a running underlying plot line. But
Mm-hmm.
here it's just like, okay, resolve it in the next episode, sort of. I mean, like,
Mm-hmm.
they address it quickly. And you know we like that sort of Jane the Virgin style plot resolution. And it's also because it was based on a manga, I guess, that each episode is very episodic in that
Mm-hmm.
sense. There's some degree of like the stories make sense when you watch them in order, but then it's not like required.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very quaint. It's very quaint.
So we're starting in a few minutes.
I'm probably just sad that it's gonna be short. Like I know there's one season lang so.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Well, who knows? Maybe the show will pick up. Maybe more people will like it.
Mm-mm.
Stranger things have happened,
Well, that's a different show, but
and it happened.
and it happened. But you ruined my joke. No, I'm kidding. Thwarted. Uh, what the hell are you? Sorry, there's like you get these mysterious people who follow you on a social platform, and then like you don't know who they are. They have no followers.
Mm-hmm.
They have numbers on the end of their name. Like, seems fishy. But I don't like perma block them. I soft block like on Twitter. So I'll block and then unblock, and at least I sever the connection.
Mm-hmm.
Things. Yeah, we'll start in a bit. Today's topic is a viewer request, which is always interesting. Um, Man, it's been a very busy week again. We need. I guess I look forward to a pre-show where we don't say it's been a busy week.
Mm-hmm.
Not that we don't want to be busy, but it would be nice to be like, hey, this week was just chill. This was productive, but like just okay. We are also
Okay.
wearing our Jaja Jaturna shirts. I think we're a little white out na naman because we're wearing white shirts and then the lighting. I don't know. What do you think?
Camera's far.
Yeah, I'm consulting with the tech crew. Here's the tech crew. Any cute?
It's there. I killed it 3 notches.
Okay.
That should be better.
You don't have to leave it on your monitor. It might
It's just
wobble.
easier to reach if I do that.
Okay.
still seems white though.
It does.
Maybe if I
Not significantly different.
well, it hasn't happened in the monitor yet. We're waiting.
Okay.
Like 15-second delay.
There, you did it. See, see, I'll make that face so that you know you made a change.
It's funny though, the little backlight's bright enough that I cover you when I lean back.
Yeah. That little light, our original ring light.
It's
It
stronger
puts
now
me
than
in.
most lights.
It puts me in shadow. 3-point lighting setup, but then they're all LED ring lights, so they're not exactly consistently strong, and they don't travel well over distance. But that is the way of things. Okay, I guess we can start. I'll roll the credit
Yeah.
sequence, and we'll be right back. Don't go away.
Oh yeah! Really right!
This is Toby.
And this is Rocky.
And if it's your first time here, welcome to Baduy Pride, a little space on the internet where we talk about anything we want.
It is completely unscripted and not entirely accurate, but at least it's honest. Join us as we talk about everything and anything random
And
live.
if it's not your first time here, thank you so much for joining us again. Today's topic is animation and adults, but not necessarily adult animation.
Yeah, to be specific, it was a request to talk about cartoons for adults or for grown-ups. And I had to word it this way for like YouTube purposes, because then I don't know what kind of traffic we'll get if I just said adult cartoons.
And they might flag it or something. by
Yeah,
mistake.
yeah. And I think that's going to be part of the discussion. So we're thinking specifically about cartoons that have a distinct slant in favor of an older audience.
Mhm.
Um, and I was like brainstorming with Toby right before this, like over dinner, and I was saying like immediately though, I do want to get one thing out of the way, which is the special subset of animation, which is anime. So anime, sadly, sometimes treated as a style, but
Mhm.
really it is a medium. um, Typically refers to Japanese animation. A lot of them are based on Japanese manga, which are
Mm.
Japanese comics, but a lot of them are also original as well.
Yes.
And then I only want to separate them because I feel like the Japanese view of the role of manga and anime in their storytelling toolkit
Mhm.
is very different from the rest of the world. Like I feel like the concept of cartoon equals kids is a very Western concept, whereas for the Japanese, it's always been just another way to tell a story.
Well, not limited to just the Japanese. Because
That's
if you
true.
look at
That's true.
European animation as well,
There's some great French stuff.
as well as European comics, there's a lot that also target an older demographic.
Mm,
So I think the best way to really approach it is when we do have any anime items in what we'll discuss, they're not in the list just because they're anime,
yes.
but because they were crafted to be targeting an older audience.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. I mean, like, and we're not gonna we're no experts by any means. We're not cartoon scholars of any sort. We're just fans, and we'll kind of go where things can go. Okay,
Mhm.
so where do you want to start, Toby? What
Hey, man.
do you have to prep? And oh, Jay's here too. Hello, Jay.
So I was able to find a list of 25 animated movies every adult should watch.
Ooh.
I was thinking it was at least a jumping point.
It was written by it was published on Marie Claire.
Yeah, which is why I have
magazine.
I don't think this will necessarily
Ooh.
fit with our list, but at least it gives us a perspective of what others think
That's true. Oh,
when they
and Brian's here. Hello,
of
Brian.
animation for adults. So the first on the list, interestingly, is The Night is Short, Walk on Girl, which is a 2018 Japanese animated film of a college co-ed girl who wants to figure out how to be an adult. So again, this falls under using anime as a medium.
Mm.
Tries to tell a more mature story tries to tell a more slice of life narrative without necessarily going.
Interesting. We haven't seen it,
Mhm.
but we're curious. Jay says there's a category of anime manga that are actually targeted towards older people. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Okay.
Is that older people meaning old, or is that
Oh.
older people meaning not kids? Because those are two different things. Yeah,
Geriatric manga.
yeah, because there
Yeah,
are
it's a particular
that
subset.
touch those type of slice of life stories. Mary Claire lists Sausage Party.
Okay. And then I feel like this is a great jumping point for many things. There is a huge segment of rather, dare I say, American animated features that really just kind of go out with very crass
Mm-hmm.
gutter humor, which is, okay, it's not bad in itself. I'm just saying that it's the tone,
Mhm.
right? And it's very vulgar. I mean, obviously, Sausage Party, which in itself is a pun on a sexual euphemism,
Mm-hmm.
and then the whole cartoon kind of plays on that imagery a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a sausage with a hot dog bun as a romantic interest.
Mhm.
I wouldn't say it was a favorite movie, but but I feel like there's a whole set of these types of things. Okay.
Loving Vincent is mentioned,
Mm.
a 2017 film about Vincent van Gogh, and it basically got a lot of people to paint the the film, right? So it all
Yeah.
appears like a painting.
Oh, and then this reminds me of, darn, I can't remember the title now. Was it A Scanner Darkly?
Yes,
Which was like another rotoscope animation
Yes.
style where they
with Keanu
they
Reeves.
they filmed with Keanu Reeves, where they filmed it and then they drew over
Mhm.
it. So then there's like a whole bunch of these. But I feel like this was interesting only because the goal was to celebrate Van Gogh's art style,
Mhm.
and so they really tried to bring his unique impressionist style to life all throughout the movie,
Mhm.
which made for a great
It
piece.
generally worked for me, except for the parts where I recognize the actor,
Yeah,
and then
that's
again
true.
that breaks the illusion.
It was a little draw.
So
Ooh,
Jay continues.
yeah.
While shonen, which literally means young boy, are targeted towards young boys, shouju, which literally means young girls, are targeted towards young girls. Yeah, I know there is a specific one which does target an older market. I can't remember the term, but then you have you have seinen, which deals with more serious topics. Yes, this one, not limited to psychological and gory. Um,
Usually
usually, but
targeted
not
towards young
limited.
adults.
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
Waking Life also is another one.
Oh,
Yes.
Waking Life. Yes, yes. Okay.
So Animal Farm had an animated version in 1954.
Okay, I we had to watch that for school.
Mhm.
Like when we read Animal Farm, and like, man, it was a traumatic
I'm sorry,
cartoon.
can you move slightly back so you're always in the light? There.
Okay.
Because the moment I there, see, I keep covering your light, so you have to stay in the light.
It's because Toby's taller and he
No,
casts
I don't know.
he casts a shadow upon me.
It feels
Up
like
there.
it feels like we rotated slightly ourselves
I'm in shadow
because for some reason this one is now casting on us.
Mm.
It used to cast only in the background, so I don't know. Something's different with our setup right now. Okay, moving on. I'm skipping the others, which are not necessarily that notable.
Ooh, this one looks interesting though.
There's Persepolis, which is a 2007 animation based on a 2003 graphic novel
Mm.
by Marjane Satrapi.
Sounds
Um,
European.
it's a memoir of the author's childhood in Iran before, during, and
Middle
after
Eastern.
the Islamic Revolution.
Oh, okay, okay.
Um, let's skip those first. We
Yeah,
can go
yeah.
back to those.
Oh, wow.
There's Chico and Rita, which is a 2010 Toronto International Film Festival film, which talks about love. Um, French films, there's a lot. Scanner
Oh, there's
Darkly
Canada
System
Darkly. It came
there.
up. Oh, Yellow Submarine. Classic.
Mhm.
Although I don't know, it still felt a little young to me, but obviously it's something that people remember. All right.
Okay.
Wow, that there are a bunch of other stuff on this list, but like they didn't really stand out.
Yeah. Then looking at this other list, we have of course Rick and Morty.
So yeah, so Rick and Morty is definitely, I guess, in terms of like contemporary shows, it's clearly
Mhm.
you wouldn't let your kids watch
Yes,
this
Tristan.
alone.
Stop motion can be included.
Yeah.
So, what makes Rick and Morty count in the list is the fact that while it can be entertaining for kids, as an adult, you realize how deep the rabbit hole goes. You realize how there's so much sense behind the nonsense. You know, they the show tries to like throw it out like it was just humorous, crazy science. But then if you really look deeper, there's an underlying structure beneath the plots they present.
And then at the same time, there's the basic like parental guidance concern. I mean,
Mhm.
the show has gratuitous violence, a lot of sexual humor, a
Mhm.
lot of profanity. I mean, so and these are like the easy things that take it away and like make it so that it's not obviously it's not targeted towards children
Mhm.
because you literally can't have kids watch this based on current entertainment standards. Oh, let's talk about the Simpsons for a moment. That's on this list. I mean,
Mhm.
like technically speaking, like the Simpsons was essentially a primetime sitcom style story,
Yes.
but done as an animated series. And then while some things get a little zanier, but ultimately the storytelling format is closer to like things like Married with
Mhm.
Children or in modern terms, Modern Family. Um, and it's an interesting approach. Okay,
Mhm.
okay.
Kenny also shares Bob's Burger has cheeky adult humor.
Mm, yeah,
Um,
I've only tried a few, but I like it didn't really hook me that
yeah,
series.
I met one of the people behind the show. That was at work. Anyway, South Park. What?
You only decided to bring this up now?
No, I mentioned it. I mentioned it to you before.
No,
Until now, I don't remember the name.
that I believe. That I believe. Okay,
But I have a video message and a photo. South Park. I never liked
I
South Park.
never got into South Park.
I always struggle to appreciate South Park.
It was again. I feel like it isn't more in the same humor of things like Sausage Party,
Hmm.
which is like I can't take these on a regular
But
basis.
supposedly, South Park is quite smart.
I mean,
Um,
I can see that it has sort of like what we like about Rick and Morty, and that there are thematic episodes
mhm.
where here we're tackling a particular contemporary issue, in the form of this cartoon world. But I just couldn't take it. I don't know why.
Mitch, of course, shares American Dad and Family
Yeah,
Guy.
I'm sure we're gonna encounter those on the list.
Bojack Horseman.
Oh my god, BoJack
So this
Horseman.
is like top of the list.
Oh, super. I mean, like, okay, BoJack Horseman started as one of. If you go all the way back to last year, we did an episode where we talked about our different levels of TV,
Mhm.
and there are shows that I watch on my own, and then shows that Toby watches on his own, and then many shows we watch together. BoJack started as something I watched on my own, and
Mhm.
then I pivoted and like, holy crap, Toby, you need to watch this, and
Mhm.
we went back to the start, and oh my god, and it's such a powerful series. It was like uh, it's try like what Jay says. He likes how it tackles and portrays mental health problems and the
Mhm.
like. Yeah, it tackles very adult concerns with a very realistic depiction, despite the fact that most of the cast are are anthropomorphic people. I
Mhm.
don't know. It's like animals with extra bits. So super smart. But I will warn people who have not watched it. Very heavy.
Yes.
It's very heavy.
We have Archer.
Archer, I tried to watch. I tried. This is definitely one of those. I tried to watch it along the lines of the humor is definitely more. It was more in my head.
Mhm.
I won't bother Toby with this show, and then I still haven't finished it. It gets tiring, because it has that same level of humor. But it's like it's well done. It's very
Mhm.
well done, and then yeah, that's all I can say. Ooh, the Venture Brothers.
Mhm.
I super love the Venture Brothers. But again, and this I think the humor because I was while crass was still uh closer to the rest of like what I appreciate about Adult Swim on
Mhm.
Cartoon Network. Things like C Lab 2020 and Aqua Teen Hunger Force. And so I super enjoyed this one. And it was a good play on the Johnny Quest style
Mhm.
story, the Tintin style story, the science heroes. So yeah, I super love that. Ooh, Tristan says Bojack Horseman slaps you in the face
Yeah.
without, but Jay adds without losing humor and charm. Okay. Mitch mentions Aeon Flux. I'm sure it'll come up.
Yeah. So Samurai Jack.
Samurai Jack. So to be fair though, I don't think it was necessarily made for adults.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those universal shows, sort of like Adventure Time and Steven Universe. But the tone was definitely more mature, I
Mhm.
guess you could say. But they went through that classic sidestep of all of his enemies are robots.
Mhm.
So he's never killing living things. He's always destroying hordes of robots.
I think I'll always just cherish Samurai Jack for being um, one of those shows that wasn't afraid to go abstract in how it wanted to present the visuals.
Yes,
It
yes.
really went incredibly poetic at times that you're surprised that they would have that out in a cartoon.
And weren't afraid of silence.
Mm.
They have a lot of wordless sequences, whether it's action, whether it's just setting the scene, whether it's trying to convey a mood.
Mm.
Wonderful, wonderful storytelling. We still haven't actually finished it. We haven't watched the when they went back and made another season, but we'll
Mm.
get around to it. Okay.
Harley Quinn.
I was ready not to like Harley Quinn because I thought it would be more crass, stupid humor. But
Mhm.
I ended up enjoying this like more than things like Archer. Like
Mhm.
this was fun. I mean, ultra violent, yes, for a cartoon, but still quite fun.
Smart writing.
Smart writing, and then good and then like deep references
Mhm.
to like Batman lore. So good stuff. Good stuff. Okay.
Futurama.
I wanted to like Futurama a lot more than I thought. Like when it came out and like, what? The guy did The Simpsons is doing a
Mhm.
science fiction series. Oh, this is gonna be amazing. And it was like okay. And then I think I have watched most of it at this
Mhm.
point. Like I made a bit of an effort.
Definitely more than me.
Yeah, but it was definitely one of those also like I said, like, this is not a Toby. I'm not gonna bother Toby with this. Like it wasn't worth investing our shared
Although
time.
I think Futurama was a good build up to Rick and Morty in the sense that
Yeah,
if you didn't
probably.
go Futurama, Rick and Morty might be too much.
Mm,
But then
mm.
having gone through Futurama, you're kind of, whoa, this is a good level.
Yeah,
Because
that's
Rick and
a
Morty really shoots high in terms of, let's talk about multiple possibilities.
it's
And,
like high concept, but also like, but I'm cussing you half the way, and
mm,
so it's like assaulting you on multiple levels.
mm, mm.
Okay,
The Boondocks, never got into
no
this.
idea. Okay,
Regular show.
but again, I feel like this falls in the category of it's a kids show. I mean,
Mm.
no offense, but it's an all ages show, I guess, in that sense, where it has a they say it has a deeper meaning if you watch it
Lots
with
of
an adult
musical
lens.
references
Mm-mm.
that
Which
kids would probably not connect with.
and we never got into it though.
Mm.
Steven Universe is on this list, but same reasons. Like I think it's universal appeal. Okay,
Mhm. Okay, we don't know this one. Ha,
Metallocal.
Calypse. Calypse. Metallocalypse.
Wow, that's
That's a
an odd
terrible title.
mind. I mean, I know it's supposed to be metal and apocalypse, but it just didn't like word out right. Okay,
Okay, so Family Guy.
I never liked Family Guy. I never liked Family Guy. I couldn't get into it. I knew it was like trying to be in the same niche as The Simpsons, and then in general, like I just had a hard time with all of Seth MacFarlane's cartoons.
You like his stop motion more.
What do you mean? What was it stop motion?
Wasn't he the one doing uh
Are you confusing Robot Chicken because that's
yeah.
Seth Green?
Okay, that's not he.
Okay,
Yeah.
wrong Seth. All right, that's fine.
Close names. So Bob's Burger.
Bob's Burgers, which again I tried.
No, I did meet the creators. I met someone who was working with them. Sorry. Now we're realizing the names. That's not these.
That's a little better.
Yeah. Because there was a Filipino animator who worked with them. And I met him.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Clone
Oh wow,
High.
Kenny squeeing over Metal Up, that show. I hope you can share why you like it. Okay. Oh, Tom's here and he says Invincible. Yeah, that's definitely something to talk about. What was that other one? We just yeah.
Let's just skip forward to Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law.
Harvey Birdman. I've been trying to get Toby to watch it. I made Toby watch it.
I can only take it in
I
small
know. It's definitely it's my humor.
So I realize as much as I like cracking jokes, I don't like watching things that try to throw joke after joke after joke.
Ha
While I'm fine with rom-coms and the like, because you kind of space out the jokes. But then these shows, it's like they're like running a gag every few seconds,
Yes.
and I can't.
It's sight gag after sight gag after
I
sight
I
gag.
can't.
Well, to be fair, it's not even a half hour format. It's technically like a 10-minute
Yeah.
episode. But then when you binge it, it's a lot.
So I feel like maybe we should like whenever we watch an episode of Harvey Birdman, we then have to watch a horror movie or something. So you feel the same thing I'm feeling.
I'll just watch it on my own.
I
I love Harvey Birdman. Attorney at law. And there's a sequel series, Bird Girl. So
Mhm.
I haven't started. Yet.
So Jay Shares found Family Guy entertaining but wasn't really too invested. Watched it on TV before in passing.
Man, don't you miss that? Like, it is the things you watch on TV and not make effort to follow.
Okay. So I never got into Daria.
La 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 la. I tried. It was hard to catch because it was on MTV on weird hours. And
So
but this is like our first like MTV cartoon. Okay.
So Tom and I and Brian, actually, Tom and I and Brian, we had a schoolmate who was
like that?
who was so much like Daria.
I feel like we had many. Sooner or later, people have a Daria friend.
And I remember a lot of friends were like joking about it and this that, and I still didn't know why because I've never seen the show and I never got it. I never connected with it.
Would you like to try to watch it?
Why not? I mean, we watch all the weirdest things, okay? So I don't see any problem with trying the old cartoons.
I like Daria, but I can't say I've watched it from start to finish
Mhm.
because it was one of those I caught it on TV when I could.
So other less popular ones, F is for Family,
Yeah, I didn't.
Big
Yeah.
Mouth,
Yeah,
Black
couldn't get into Big
Dynamite.
Mouth. Didn't watch F is for Family.
Yeah. Ugly Americans, I know we saw this.
Yeah, we watched this. I kind of liked it. It was very weird. It was very very weird. Ugly Americans, but I also see why it ended.
Space Ghost, Coast to Coast.
Space Ghost Coast to Coast was one of the earliest Adult Swim shows, and it was not super fun because it was a talk show.
Mhm.
It was a talk show using stock footage of Space Ghost hosting with some new bits, and then but it was another place to watch Zoltar, which which like Karen loved him as a character, and then he would later appear on the Brack show. So okay,
Robot Chicken.
so yeah, and this to Tristan's point earlier, like, do we include like stop motion? So Robot Chicken is like, it's really smart. It's obviously of our generation, so a lot of the humor targets things we like growing up. There is a lot of 80s action figures or cartoons
Mhm.
that have become the focus of this show. I mean, and sort of like a short story collection. You don't have to like everything. And
Mhm.
I think half the stuff in any episode of Robot Chicken is crap
Mhm.
and super. Why did this get animated? But then there's the occasion like, okay, that's really funny.
And then the show has the genius of being able to like spoof all these celebrities and companies
Yes.
because it's in the name of satire, it's in the name of comedy, so it gets a free pass as far as problems with slander and the like are concerned.
And surprisingly, over the years, has managed to get great guest voice,
Yes.
celebrity voice
Because
actors.
people then now want to be part of the joke.
Yes. Whether they're reprising their original role as a clay animation thing or just voicing other characters.
Oh, Jay has an interesting share. Understood what Big Mouth was going for. It's a bit hard to appreciate. Just watch Sex Ed.
Yeah, it's in a similar niche, but then like I just couldn't get into it. I just couldn't get the appeal. It felt like a Woody Allen cartoon series or something, and that's like
Okay, Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
okay. And I know this is, I will always say, as one of the early Adult Swim stuff, I like it looking back, but then when I tried to watch it again, like, oh my god, this is so stupid. But I'm okay.
Beavis and Butthead.
Okay.
Never got into it.
I tried because they would occasionally show episodes in like alongside Liquid TV.
Mm.
But yeah, I didn't. It wasn't that great.
Ren and Stimpy didn't get into it.
Yeah, I tried to watch, and then I was just very bothered. Also, I could never fully appreciate Ren and Stimpy. The closest I got to liking Ren and Stimpy was Cow and Chicken,
Mhm.
which had a similar kind of feel.
The
But
obnoxious humor.
yeah, but it was still not as bad as this. So okay,
Trailer Park Boys animated series.
no
Not
idea.
familiar.
Okay,
Brickleberry,
wow, also no idea.
American Dad,
Which is a spin-off for Family Guy. King
King
of
of
the
the
Hill,
Hill.
which I felt is that MTV animation style, but also didn't get into this.
um, Disenchantment.
We
I'm
tried to
sad.
watch
I'm
this.
so sad I didn't like
We
Disenchantment.
tried to get.
I
We watched the 2 seasons
I was actually thinking
or the 1 season. I don't know.
I was actually thinking it had promise, but I don't know. For some reason, terrible story.
Protagonist is not likable. Sidekicks also not that likable. Her arc was not great.
I think what bothered me the most was that they were all forgettable.
Yeah, because they didn't really have personality. They just had things that they were
No
doing
real
or were happening
personality,
around to
no
them.
real goal, no real motivations.
Mm.
And then at the same time, if you're looking at something just throwing jokes at you, it was trying to be smart. So it kind of flustered, fumbled in that area.
Mm-mm.
Happy Tree Friends, never got into it.
I never got into it,
Only
despite
watched
like
only watched a few for research.
it became such an internet meme, but I never got into it. Funny, funny. Kenny also not into Disenchantment. Okay.
Drawn Together
Oh my god. Okay, I super got into Drawn Together.
because
I don't know. It was okay. I was a I it came out in 2004. So these are the earlier years of like, you know, ooh, cartoons can be edgy. And then it was smart and it was smart satirical in the sense that it was making fun of many different types of cartoons at the same time. So you had a literal Disney princess,
mhm,
you had someone elfy, someone very superhero,
Pokemon-y.
someone Pokemon, someone Josie and the Pussycats. And they were all just different stereotypes and then the voice cast was surprisingly good. I mean, it had
Mhm.
Tara Strong, which okay, she's like in everything, but
Yeah.
it was a fun series. Tristan says he's surprisingly like King of the Hill. Oh, okay, that's interesting to know. Paradise PD, never heard of it. Central Park, never heard of it. Squid Billies,
Squidbillies,
never heard of it. Slightly intrigued.
Cleveland Show.
Also
No.
didn't get it, but that's another Family Guy spin-off, I think. Cleveland Show. Okay.
Okay, so then let's now look at this list of adult animated television series before 1990.
Wow, that's a very specific
Yep,
time
it seemed like
frame.
an interesting thing to pull out. So the earliest thing mentioned is a Hanna-Barbera show called Where's Huddles,
Which was a sitcom style thing.
1970.
Wow, never heard of it. Okay.
Moving forward with a bunch of Hanna-Barbera shows, we have Wait Till Your Father Gets Home.
Okay, I vaguely remember this one.
Really?
I can't remember watching it, but
Ha! The Wikipedia page doesn't even have a still image.
wait, and I think like I can hum the theme song in my head for some reason. Syempre, I went to the Wikipedia
Here.
page also. I'm gonna risk playing it briefly, but we're gonna get an ad
Go, go,
first,
go.
I bet. Where's the?
Oh yeah, that is familiar.
I'm not sharing the tab. Sorry.
Okay, that's spooky.
Right? It's one of those things like I said, why do I know the theme song? Why do I know the theme song?
I don't know.
Okay.
So there's Joke Book,
It's
still
like,
by
wait till your
Hanna-Barbera.
father gets
And then you
till
have
your father
Simpsons
gets
kicking in.
wait till your father gets home.
Okay. Then
Wow, there's not much beyond that.
for independent animation,
No, it's just independent animation as a
yeah,
genre.
so that's nothing there. Let's now go to LGBT representation because that's also where we tend to slip in the cartoons that try to be edgy.
Okay,
Because
okay, that's true.
there was that since we can push the envelope, let's have a character who isn't straight.
Wait, I think we can take a pause before we go into another list, but lists are helpful. So, okay, thinking back, when do you first remember seeing a cartoon that felt more adult?
It'll have to be Liquid TV.
Liquid TV.
And
Okay.
Aeon Flux would be the top of my list. Not the not the Aeon Flux that had dialogue, but the
The
ones
early Ian
the
Flux
pure
shorts.
shorts with no words and a lot of tongues flicking open teeth canisters or licking eyeballs.
And oh my god, killing enough mooks that the blood starts to fill the room,
Mhm.
and then like it's up to their
And it was
ankles.
the first one to really go, wait, she dies every episode.
Yes.
And it was always a really, really um, memorable death, from the spine snapping to the shots through the body to.
And, and now for some reason the death there was like a death music, but now it's super mixed up in my head with what's this? The Machine of Death YouTube
Yes, I was about
video.
to say it's the same music in my head now.
I love you. Okay. That's why we are together. Okay. So there's that. Okay, weirdly, I have two things to cite. One is I have this weird memory of this laser disc that we
Okay.
once borrowed.
Okay.
That was like this animation.
For those who don't know, laser
Showcase.
discs. If this is a CD-ROM, laser disc is like a full size.
It was the size of vinyl,
Yes.
but it was like a CD. And it was this collection of computer animated things,
Okay.
which included Pixar's like Tintoy
Mhm.
and Luxo. So when they were first showcased, and then a bunch of other like random animated stuff, and then some of them were rather adult.
Mm.
And it was like, oh, I remember like these very like liquid metal people like kissing, and then as they pulled apart, their lips were stuck
So that's
together.
most likely from Lawnmower Man.
Not even, but similar style.
Yeah.
But Lawnmower Man's probably another. And then Cool World.
Cool World.
Cool World.
I didn't get into Cool World because I was more Roger Rabbit. And when Cool World came out, I was like, it's like trying to be Roger Rabbit.
But it was like
But
so
I
much
know
more.
it was so much different, and I remember watching it later on, and it's like, okay, I was stupid not to consider.
And surprisingly, Brad Pitt.
Mm.
It was Brad Pitt, right?
Mhm.
Or was it someone else?
I think it was Brad
Oh
Pitt.
my god, suddenly I made my memory wrong. Cool World. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Brad
Kim
Pitt.
Basinger and Brad Pitt.
And it was like, why did Kim Basinger do this project? Yeah, and then of course there's just Liquid TV. And then Liquid TV was super like before there was Adult Swim, we had Liquid TV,
Mhm.
and I would stay up late just to catch it on MTV.
Back when we used to watch stuff on TV.
Yes, back when MTV had mostly music videos. Now it's like I don't know, but it was so good, and there was just all these different. I know we've squeed about Liquid TV previously, but really, dear mom.
But I think the first cartoon that I felt was very adult, as odd as it sounds, was the Walt Disney Fantasia movie.
Why the
Because-
original Fantasia?
Because it was just an opera.
That is true. It's
It
just
was-
it's just animation set to music.
And I remember when I first saw it, I was so fascinated because it starts out like a cartoon. It's Mickey wearing the robes and the
Oh yeah,
hat.
then he's going to like conduct the orchestra. Yeah,
But then
yeah.
later on, it shifts to all these waltzing animals, which still is cartoon. But then you're like, so there's no story. I'm just watching these dancing. Then later it becomes the night at Bald Mountain,
I see. You're gonna go back to
which suddenly
Chernobyl. Mm.
terrifies you. But then the ending goes back to Mickey.
Yeah, because the Sorcerer's Apprentice.
So it just was this. What did I just watch? It
have you
didn't
ever
felt like
watched the
anything.
new Fantasia?
Not yet.
I have not. Also, we should take a moment to like watch. Was it Fantasia 2000? I don't know.
Scary.
Things. Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So let's go to this LGBT list because it's the sad admitting that more often than not, LGBT characters means the show automatically becomes adult oriented.
Mm-hmm. So I'm actually using this list just to see if there's any specific ones that we overlooked.
Yeah, there's like no chronological order. It's just like thematics. So
So there was the Great North, which supposedly had an openly gay character from Fox adult animated sitcom.
unfamiliar.
Yeah, we've
Okay.
never heard of that one.
Crapston Villas.
Yeah,
It's
was
a
the
British
show
one.
with one of the first animated series on British television with openly gay characters as
Okay.
well. Of course, Space Ghost, Venture Brothers, Queer Duck.
I see images of this. We've never watched this.
Yeah, yeah, we've seen
Like
this.
we've seen this image, but then
And I
like, what
think
is this?
I never got interested in it because it looked very snidey.
Which is funny with you and now and your weird appreciation for ducks. I mean, like I thought I liked ducks, but then now Toby really likes ducks.
Ducks are different. Queer Duck is not. Um,
Queer duck is not because he's different from ducks. Is that really?
it's treading dangerous
I
ground.
know, right? Oh my god! Wait! Scroll, go back. Rick and Steve, the happiest gay couple in all the world. Ah, I thought I would like this. I did not. I totally did not. I know. I know. We tried to.
Oh,
Don't you
it's by
remember?
Q Allen Broca.
Yes.
I did not realize
And
that.
then it looked like they were using pseudo Playmobil people,
Mm-mm.
but it just wasn't. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. Okay. Um. What else is here?
Okay, let's talk about Invincible.
Invincible. Okay, Invincible is actually based on a comic book series
Yes.
of the same name, which was even more violent than the show.
And I feel like it doesn't really hit the mark. Although a
What do you
lot of
mean?
people are super oohing and eyeing that, wow, this cartoon is ultra violent and blah 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 blah. And I feel like, haven't you been watching anime in the
Mm.
last 25 years? We've seen even more violence in movies like Akira way back. So it's kind of, I'm not impressed. And then um, the story feels flat for me. But then again, I also like Jupiter's Legacy, and even that adaptation, though not animation, was also sadder. So,
Yeah, I mean, like I read the comics. I read most of
mhm.
Invincible. I still have a few more volumes to
Do you
go.
feel the animation was a better adaptation of the comic than than? God, I had it in my head, then it's gone. The one with Hit Girl, and the other book was called Nemesis. I'm not remembering the main title.
I like how you're naming everybody else.
I know it's annoying. My brain and names.
Uh, you can do it. You got everyone else.
I'm so tempted to Google already.
Hit girl and
Come on, kick ass. There you go.
he did it, ladies and gentlemen. He did it.
Yeah. So, do you feel it's better an adaptation than the Kick Ass movie, or do you feel the Kick Ass movie captured the comic better than the Invincible animation captured the comic book?
I say this only because I'm not exactly the biggest Invincible fan. It
Mm-hmm.
was just one of the earliest things I ever got on Comixology, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't know why. And so was the like I think to a large degree, I thought that the adaptation, the cartoon series as an adaptation, was actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But then the core comic and the series share the same narrative
Mm-hmm.
problems, so they both can feel a little flat.
Okay.
And then Kick Ass, the movie kasi gets a bit far away
Yeah,
from the comic, but it did make it more palatable to a wider audience and as a movie.
and I feel like Kick Ass retained the basic idea,
Yeah,
but
but then
brought
made
it.
sure it worked as a
Yeah,
movie.
exactly.
But then for like Invincible as a TV series, since it's animation, which is not too far away from comics as a medium, then like it's not as big a challenge, and at the same time you're not as obliged to go further away. It's like comparing the Tintin cartoon with the Tintin comics.
Hmm.
It's like it looks the same, then what else you want?
So let's talk about the rainbow in the room. As Jay mentioned, the Q Force.
I was prepared not to like it. I didn't hate it.
Me, I think the best way to sum up my feelings about it, um, they didn't have to be so on the nose to attack the stereotypes,
Mm.
because um, that's the thing that happens with the first episode, wherein when you're watching it, so everything is so on the nose, um, that you feel like, wow, the show's like really just throwing stereotype after stereotype. It's later on you realize that they intentionally did that to deconstruct it or to attack it.
Yeah, it gets smarter, but it takes like half the season to
And I
get there.
feel they push themselves backwards by making it very on the nose.
Yeah, and then and that like, I remember distinctly asking you like, so I wonder now because a lot of the references or the humor, a lot of it seems dated in the
Mm-mm.
sense that it's the same kind of lesbian, trans, gay jokes we heard in Will and Grace, and
Mm.
it's the obvious comparison because of Sean Hayes. Um, but then I was like, on the flip side, is gay is gay humor in the US still there? Like
Mm.
I don't know. Like I don't know if that's really the level of humor, and if it stays in that
Mm-hmm.
tier, then I guess it makes sense.
But it definitely does have a lot of meat behind it.
It got a lot more insightful,
Mhm.
like way towards the end. Um, and like so, like if a second season comes out, yeah, we'll probably still watch it. Like
I feel it would do better to stop trying to make all the characters puns on the stereotype terms and just have them as characters who will attack those concepts.
yeah, because it doesn't help like your protagonist is last name Mary, so everybody literally has to go, "Hey Mary,"
Yeah,
and
and
it's
that
like
just feels forced. It
yeah,
doesn't feel like a natural joke, which
and
is
then
what's frustrating me.
like their mechanic is a butch lesbian, and like okay, okay, things like that.
Hmm.
Kenny's like, can we talk about the other LGBT cartoon of Netflix? Which one? I think I can't immediately.
Was this the one with the drag queens?
Oh, there was that one which was foreign, but was on Netflix. Super Drags. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Number one. Okay, Super Drags. Was this is so it's not American. It's South American,
Mm-hmm.
and so that alone already tells us that the cultural context is different.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like it's not my favorite thing, but I liked it more than Drag Tots. On Wow, like it had more of a story than Drag Tots. Like it, but the humor is very odd. Like it's very weird.
I'll just answer and say I'm not the target audience.
Yes.
In the similar ways that I didn't appreciate um yeah, why am I always trapping myself in names? Those three girls who are like female Astro Boys fighting a monkey with powers.
Toby, Toby. Is this the strangest description of Powerpuff Girls I've
There
ever
you
heard? They're
go.
not robots, Toby. They were made, but they're not robots. They're not Astro Boys.
But it helped you get what I was talking about.
Because they're fighting a monkey. Sugar, spice, everything nice. They're the perfect little girls.
So going back, I didn't get that cartoon either. I didn't. I watched it. I didn't enjoy it. I couldn't connect. So I'm not the target audience.
Okay, okay, okay. That's funny.
In the same token, I love Inhumanoids. Most people will go, "What?"
Because it has literal antagonist called
Decompose.
decompose. See, that's Toby's favorite. Who would
Pick you
turn
up.
if he touches you with a claw, he can
Mm.
turn you old and drain your life
Mhm.
force, or he can put you in his open rib cage, chest cage thing,
Yes.
and then you're a prisoner there. Although you could probably slip through the ribs.
Now, in a similar way that I didn't appreciate Robot Chicken, I love Modok.
Oh, Modoc. We gotta
And
talk about Modoc.
and that's the thing. See,
Same
Modok,
people.
same people, but Modok isn't like joke after joke after joke after joke. It actually had this plot, which occasionally had funny jokes, but occasionally didn't.
So is this why Okay, that I'm sensing a pattern. This is a revelation for me. So maybe this is why you're not like a sketch comedy person.
Mm,
This is why also you're not into Monty Python as much
yeah,
because it's joke after joke after joke.
yeah,
Essentially, it's
yeah,
that it's the format.
yeah.
How interesting because Modoc had a
And
narrative.
in the same way, I'm not into like comedy shows.
Yeah, yeah,
But so like if we watch certain shows and it's like just the crazy things that these characters will do, I get bored.
yeah.
I get tired. But then if it's say a rom com or a horror comedy, wherein there's the jokes, but sometimes there's not. And
Look at these genres that he brings as a counter.
no,
Rom coms and horror
Because
comedy.
what was that one with? Here we go. The one with the two rednecks who are in the woods, and the kids think that they're the murderers, but they're really just trying to save the kids.
Yes.
Something and Dale
Yes.
against evil.
Yes.
Anyway, there.
Just look at the filmography of Alan Tudyk.
So I enjoyed that a lot,
Yes.
even if it's close enough to those really absurdist comedies. But it's because there are moments it becomes
Oh,
plot.
not an animated series.
Yeah. See? So that's the thing. I get super tired when it's just nonstop blah.
Okay. Okay.
In the same token, let's say horror, if it just becomes a gore fest nonstop, I get bored and I don't like it.
Mitch says, new segment, Toby's guessing game. Mitch, that's been a regular part of many episodes of Baduy Pride.
This is why you should never have me name something.
This is why we don't join quiz nights. We are not trivia. Well, I stand. Let me change that. Toby is not a trivia person. And I don't want to join any such competition without Toby. And so that is not the format for us because he's going to drag me down. And it's happened. We have played a trivia game together with friends, and it's like I just had fun with it. I just enjoyed Toby, his clues to me are always, it's that movie with the guy, the one who was also in that other movie.
Going back on topic.
Haha.
So, other shows that had great representation, which makes some feel that they were targeting a more adult audience, would
Okay.
be stuff like She-Ra, Steven Universe. What was that other one? There was one more. Not Carmen Sandiego. I can't remember. But anyway, my point being, should that be okay that the moment there's LGBT representation, it feels adult?
It shouldn't. It
Right?
shouldn't. And that's why I hope things like Steven Universe and the like are helping to normalize it.
Mm-mm.
So hey,
Owl
because
House, there you go. That was the new one, right?
oh, which we haven't
That
watched.
supposedly had an openly gay character as well.
Hey, by that virtue, wasn't it in Arthur they introduced a kid who had same species parents? Because they're all animals, right? Didn't Arthur
Mm.
the Arthur cartoon have a let me look it up. I can't type. Arthur cartoon gay wedding. See? They had a same sex wedding in 2019.
Mm.
They had a same sex wedding. It was and it was for Mr. Ratburn. He marries Patrick, a local chocolatier.
Mm.
So that was interesting. Okay.
So Lower Decks also has great mature stories, despite being accessible for kids. Written to really target people who love Star Trek.
Oh my god, it is a Star Trek fan's dream.
Mhm.
I cannot. We already have an episode about this. I will say it again. I cannot recommend Lower Decks enough for anyone who likes Star Trek.
So now we're wondering how the next one will be.
Which next one?
The next Star Trek animation.
Oh, Prodigy.
Yes.
But in Prodigy is going to be distinctly kiddie oriented. I mean, it's super being marketed this way.
Mhm.
It's made in cooperation with Nickelodeon, but it's still Trek. So we'll see.
And then recently we've been watching. Well, we went through the two He-Man animations.
Yeah.
So there was the He-Man animation that was the Kevin Smith one,
Yeah. So which is
Which turned
He-Man
out-
Revelations.
which turned out to be the Tila show,
the Revelation is She-Ra, Stila.
and a lot of people hate it. We were disappointed.
And I think it was a bait and switch. It was like I don't think the story it told was necessarily bad.
Mm.
But because
It was marketed.
it was marketed as the classic He-Man male power fantasy rock ballad trailer, and then you get the Tila show. Then it was like, oh, then it was really weird. And spoiler alert, it barely has He-Man for a show that's called He-Man
Most it
Revelations.
has flashbacks.
It has a lot of flashbacks to He-Man, but doesn't have He-Man as an active character.
And then we have the other one, which was He-Man meets League of Legends.
He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, which is clearly a cartoon married to a video game.
It has literally them reusing transformation sequences. So
That's not so bad.
not so bad because of He-Man having
It's a
that.
Sentai tradition. It's a
Um,
Sailor Moon tradition.
but
It's a
then,
He-Man
but yun
tradition.
nga, they went full Sentai, wherein it's now the team that transforms, and then they now went full video game. So you have limit breaks where they play the same animation when they use certain attacks.
Lightning strike. And then it teleports to this other world.
And it's
It
literally a
really
limit break moment wherein you see him, he launches the thing, we have a shot, we have a comet falling, we see him, he catches it, and then he swipes. And parang, when is this all happening?
yeah. And then he's like fighting in the middle of town amidst many buildings, but does damage to nothing
and
else.
there's no shame in this limit break moment, especially with the other characters. Because like the Man at Arms one goes through this full story wherein he's not even sure, then he wears the armor, and then oh my god, I can use this, then he fires the missiles. Like they go through little narratives. Kulang na lang dress fears na talaga.
Toby just wants to dress, a Final Fantasy X2.
They should. You know what?
Dress
You,
fear
you know what?
series.
You know what should have dress fears and have a revival cartoon?
What?
Rainbow Bright. The name pa lang, you know na there's gonna be dress fears.
Did you actually watch Rainbow Bright?
And you can imagine there's like the red dress.
This
the
is
blue
so
dress.
not the narrative. She's not known for changing colors. She just had all the colors.
Hey, He-Man's about Tila, so I can have a Rainbow Bright that has dress fears.
Kung ganun lang sana, gem na lang, diba? At least she had synergy.
Nagka-gem na eh.
Sure.
Nagka-reset gem na
No,
eh.
but it was a live action piece of crap, right? I will say that again. A live action piece of crap.
I would love to see Silverhawks.
Okay, we're super random now. Okay,
Going back.
other animated ventures. Okay, I will talk about was this? So there's continued efforts to like use animation to tell really crass humor things.
Because that's the Western style.
Yeah, so I recently like I didn't bother Toby and I watched America the movie
Mm-hmm.
and I knew it was going to be stupid, but oh my god, it's stupid. And like
It's a stop motion.
no, it's regular animation, basically mashing together many of the notable figures of history into a
Okay,
non-historical thing. And
I think I'm happy you did.
yeah, it was just I was it was me deliberately looking for something to watch that you would not watch because I think you were asleep or you were getting your
It's
shot.
probably the
or something.
vaccine.
Yeah, you were. It was a vaccine day, and it was just
I'd like to divert then to wait. Tom mentions isn't Kara part of the LGBTQ? It took a while before that was finalized
and that was finalized, like super finalized after the show
because the
was done.
fans insisted na aminin yun na.
Yeah,
It wasn't a we're proudly showing it.
yeah. It was still primarily marketed as a young adult children's
Yeah.
cartoon on Nickelodeon,
I think-
and could not go that far.
I think the one that wasn't ashamed to go that step was She-Ra.
Yeah,
Because
but then again, Netflix.
Steven Universe was still kind of towing it as part of Magic.
Or they're aliens.
Yeah, so
So-
it didn't really.
It's normal for them.
But with She-Ra, it was now yes, she's part tiger, but I love you as you and this and that. So going back to what I wanted to bring up, Western is always about let's do something crass, let's do something sexual, and now it's more targeting adults.
Yes.
When we look at anime or when we look at European films,
It's mature themes.
it's more mature themes, it's more heavy topics.
Yes.
So everything like Graveyard of the Fireflies, we're in let's tell the story of two kids who survived the Hiroshima bombing.
Which I still have not had the heart to watch.
Then you have the opposite end of the spectrum where the really adult stuff. Typically, when you think adult stuff, people think it's just sex. But then you have pieces like End of Summer, which was very realistically done to talk about sex and sexuality in a, I dare say, non-porny way. You have okay, I lost it. There was in my head earlier. There was that other one that was talking about mental health as well as an animation. But yeah, so when it comes to topics like that, for most part, when it's the Western world, they immediately fall under art films. like Vincent. Or
Yeah.
they immediately fall under the let's hope you see it. But I think the internet has started to change that in the sense that now everyone can even release their own stuff now. So we have stuff like Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, which is mixed. There's live action, there's puppetry, there's
There's
animation.
animation. Ah, don't hug me. I'm
But
scared.
it's so I will tell my story and I
Mm,
don't care if you don't get it.
yes, because
Uh,
green is not the creative color.
mhm.
We could spend an episode just talking about don't hug me. I'm
I
scared.
realized I couldn't read after I removed my glasses.
I love dogs.
Um, yeah, I love dogs. Very well done. Very, very dry humor, but very well done. Um, I know as well that there's flack about supposedly racial undertones. I know there's concerns about the inaccuracies of this and that,
Yeah.
but I don't think that will ever disappear completely as long as people try to tell stories of different cultures.
Mm.
And yes, I do believe we have a long ways to go in having people, you know, do their research by reaching out to people of that culture. But even with that, I also know you won't please everyone. What was the Southeast Asian one with Tuk Tuk and all that? Raya,
Raya.
which was super panned online, but then wasn't necessarily blind as well. There was effort to reach out to consultants and the like.
Yeah,
So
they had a lot of Asian folks in
so
the
there's
creative team.
always that feeling of in the end you just won't please everyone. There will always be those who feel you didn't do enough,
Mm-hmm.
but there will always be the hindsight of realizing we could have done better.
Yes, yes. So, but okay, because I'm a big Wes Anderson fan, so
Yeah.
I love dogs. Super, like I totally watch it over and over again. And Fantastic Mr. Fox, which is still it's a Roald Dahl story.
Hmm.
It's technically like what's this? Well, it's inspired by a Roald Dahl
Hmm.
story. It is not the Roald Dahl the
Hmm.
same story as the book.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily fully adult oriented because it could still pass off as like general audience, but so good, so good. And I forever wanted to be able to do the you know the what they got the Fox character do all the time as his suave move and to make it into a heist thing.
Hmm.
It's just it ticks so many boxes for me. I love it. I
Do
love it.
you remember some of the more obscure cartoons from before, such as the Ziggy cartoon?
I remember the Ziggy cartoon. I didn't like it, but I remember watching a few things.
How about I think it was Sprite, the cool guy, man, cool dude,
What's it?
the black and white.
Fido Dido?
Yeah, yeah,
Fido
yeah.
Dido?
Yeah, didn't that have a cartoon too?
I can't remember if he had a full cartoon or just had a lot of commercials. And then, I mean, like to some degree, I always thought that Danger Mouse and Count Duckula had
Mhm.
weird adult moments in their tone, but it's also because it was British. So that's a whole other thing.
Mhm.
Mitch says 7 Up.
7 Up, yeah, 7 Up.
Okay, okay. And then what else? I'm trying to think of like other things like
And
Cool
Brian,
World.
yes, Peter Dido had a cartoon.
Right? Right? It did. Okay. Poof. Poof.
I'm double checking the
Look at the
list.
other years. Because it was like because we looked at the before 1990s.
So Aeon Flux, Liquid
Liquid
TV,
TV.
Capital Critters.
Oh, don't know that. Fish,
Fish
Police.
Police.
Don't know that.
The Critic,
Oh, I've known of, but I never watched it.
Duckman, The Head.
Oh, I remember the head. But that was based on a comic, diba? And the Max.
Okay, so we have to talk about the
Ooh,
Max.
the Max.
The Max was visually stunning. The Max barely made sense, but that's because the comic barely made sense.
Yeah. When I tried to like go back to the source material, it was like, oh, I guess the cartoon was totally on point.
Mhm.
Okay, okay.
Dr. Katz, Professional Therapist.
Didn't watch
Cartoon
Cartoon Sushi.
Sushi.
Didn't watch.
Um,
Todd McFarlane's Spawn
I wasn't a
was
fan.
actually sad. Yeah, it was like, ooh, HBO animations, gotta be good. It wasn't.
I'm dying for a good Spawn thing to come out someday.
Spawn is cursed.
because the movie,
Literally.
the movie,
The movie was not
my
great.
movie. Why you had John Leguizamo already, but
He was a good clown though.
uh, and then the cartoon.
Painful,
Uh,
painful.
Jay, I'm not a fan of Hayop Ka.
In terms of its story, but I acknowledge that it's the milestone for Philippine animation. Like one is definitely an adult cartoon. Adult, yes. I'm also not a fan of the story. Like, because at the end, like, what?
Yeah, I think
I didn't go away
I think
feeling
my
better.
main problem with the story, and I say this with much love because of possible professional connections that are happening in the background.
I don't,
Um,
honestly, I feel like because so many friends in the animation and comic
yeah,
scene, like, were able to contribute and get
I'm
their work out there.
I'm so disappointed that they didn't try to have a more meaningful story.
Yeah, like like why did the one project that they got so many people together had to be this gutter humor thing, which felt like a Filipino version of like an American interpretation of an adult cartoon,
Hmm.
which is like
And
let's just make it sexual humor.
and I guess for me, parang if it were going to be sexual humor, then given this country, sana they went even more. Na.
I
Kasi,
guess why you push some more and it's Netflix naman, it's not.
kasi parang
Yeah.
it felt it was still trying to be close to Sampalan, Teleserye with sexual jokes.
Mm.
So I kinda nabitin ako, basically.
It didn't it went a little far but didn't go far enough.
Mhm.
And then it just felt weird. Okay. Okay.
Celebrity Deathmatch,
Oh,
the
Celebrity
PJs,
Deathmatch.
Station Zero, Dilbert.
Okay, Dilbert had an animated series. I wanted to like it. It was just a rehash of like some of his more popular cartoons. There was a British series called Pond Life, not related to Doctor Who. Okay, a lot of things
Yeah.
that we're not familiar with. Let's go in the next year bracket.
So the year 2000s, as far as the list is concerned,
Oh, there's
Queer
Queer Duck
Duck,
again.
God, the Devil, and Bob, Clerks, the animated series,
They really like Clerks to begin
Spy
with.
Groove.
Oh, I remember Spy Groove, but I didn't like it. Like it was trying to be totally spies, kind of but Zoolandery,
Mhm.
but animated on MTV.
Playboys, Dark Justice,
The Brack Show. Okay, I like the Brack Show.
C Lab.
C Lab 2020. Again, it's the Adult Swim stuff. So
Mhm.
I love the Brack Show.
Clone High, Hey Mooney, Spider Man animated.
Why are some of these here?
I don't know.
Venture Brothers. We said Drawn Together. We talked about American Dad was already at this point. Okay. Well, there's that Boondocks again.
Okay,
Um,
so to wrap up,
oh, I think we can take a segue to um, all of DC's direct-to-video movies
mhm,
that animated, which are clearly like a lot of them, especially these days, because they have things like Suicide Squad and stuff,
mhm.
trend more adult because of violence and tone. But like, what do you feel like with all the DC direct-to-video market
I'm
of
just
stuff?
happy that they're finding a way to be better than Marvel in some degree.
Mm,
Because the
mm.
Marvel animation stuff, save for What If, hasn't been good for me. I
Yeah.
haven't been appreciating them. Um,
Although at some point, I think also like around the time that they went New 52 and Flashpoint, then I kind of got tired also of the DC
yeah.
direct to video movies.
Now, I just hope that DC stops trying to be Marvel and just goes back to celebrating what DC used to do best, which was the idealism of comics.
So stop being Marvel, stop just being Snyder.
Mhm. And um, I'm surprised they haven't really embraced this despite the the strength of their TV series. A lot of their TV stuff
Yeah,
was doing pretty
their
well.
Arrowverse stuff is like
Mhm.
we're not into it, but it's like pretty strong on
Mhm.
its own, and it still celebrates that tone. Then things like Supergirl, and then recently the Superman and Lois,
Mhm.
which we've only started but haven't really like watched it.
So there, I'm hoping that they celebrate more the joy of heroes back and bring that back. I'm worried maunahan pa sila because now Marvel starting to
They're
rush
pivoting
in that direction na.
because of Disney Plus.
And with the success of Guardians of the Galaxy, has been influencing everything else now down the line for Marvel. If you look at it, the formula of Guardians of the Galaxy was how Justice League Europe was
Mm,
always telling its stories.
yeah.
It had obnoxious heroes who still get the job done.
Yeah, but then they were like, sometimes why are these heroes?
It had villains who were villains, but they were also stupid in some way. And you will highlight that stupidity.
Mm.
Remember when Justice League Europe fought against the Beef Eater, and he was literally the Beef Eater from the Scotch.
On a side note, your screen is stopped on Team America World Police, which I thought I would not like because it's
Mhm.
it's classic Western crass humor with marionettes. But then it kind of worked, and it gave us the montage. So it needs a montage scene. So I super enjoyed that. Okay, Jay asks, given its heavy and dark theme, would you consider Disney's The Hunchback of Notre Dame as a cartoon for grown-ups? I was only able to appreciate when I was already in my 20s. I think it was still, I mean, because it's Disney, it's still something that was marketed originally for the family to watch
Mhm.
together. But the complexity of the plot is like,
Yeah, it was a heavier story.
it was heavier.
In many ways, it was. Siyempre, I'm now trying to see which one would match. Because I sort of, not necessarily equal, but I sort of put it in the same level of complexity as Fern Gully.
Ooh,
Wherein,
ooh.
wherein the story is darker and heavier than you realize.
Points for comparing Hunchback to Fern Gully.
Because if you compare it, you know, it's like if you watch Fern Gully, it's fun.
Yeah,
But then
that's
if you
Robin Williams
but
is a
then if
bat.
you watch it as an adult, oh my god, these are really disturbing topics they're bringing up.
It's deforestation, it's
It's
pollution,
animal
it's
experimentation.
yes.
Diba? It's and Hunchback is like that. When you watch it, it's like okay, so that's the bad guy and these are the heroes. But then if you watch it as an adult, that priest wants to wants to sleep with her. Diba? And so it's that sort of weight for me. Na it wasn't necessarily meant for adults, but you really only get the ramifications if you were an adult.
So it's that multi-layer
Yeah,
type
because it
thing.
wasn't like Pocahontas, which totally ignored the realities. So if you watch it as an adult, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Diba? Whereas Hunchback, it does make sense even as an adult, and it's a scary story.
And we have a friend who super likes the music from this cartoon, which is a weird discovery. Like, oh wow, really? I didn't realize there are people who like
Mhm.
super like Hunchback songs. So it just needed to find its market.
I like Ferngully more though.
We'll watch Fern Gully again. I haven't watched it. We used to have it on VHS.
Ferngully was my um, Western Nausicaa.
I can see that happening. I can see that happening. And it was that weird, like it's not a Disney animated feature,
Mhm.
but it had Robin Williams, so it was trying to be big,
And then
but
it had Scary Monster, which looks more like it's from Princess Mononoke, but
yeah,
it
the
works out.
pollution monster thing. Oh my god. Okay, potential thing to watch. Fern Gully.
On animation, I would cite as old, but still I feel more targeting adults. Would be The Last Unicorn.
Oh my god. Oh my
Mhm.
god. The Last Unicorn is brutal.
Yeah.
It is really like, why would you do this? Why would you do this to children?
Mm.
Why would you make them watch this? It's so sad. And it aired on TV on Channel 13 so many times. I don't know why. With
I,
that really haunting The Last Unicorn
I need to double
theme
check
song thing.
something. Why did it go to Game Detective? That was so
Is there a
strange.
board game?
So Last Unicorn was 1982, and then Never-ending stories na 1984. Okay.
So nauna siya
So
as a release.
So maybe
But then-
Never-ending Story was the people behind it was traumatized by the last
But
unicorn.
Never Ending
So they had
Story
the-
is based on a book.
So they had the Atreyu scene.
I read the book. The book is worse.
Does the book also have the horse in the?
Yes. And hey, to be fair, The Last Unicorn is also based on a book.
Okay.
So what can you do?
Books are dark.
Books are heavy, but oh my god. So ladies and gentlemen, if you want to cry, you watch The Last Unicorn. Because that stuff's brutal.
If you want to cry for fantasy things, watch The Last Unicorn. If you want to cry for real things, watch Graveyard of the Fireflies.
Mm.
And then if you just want to cry,
Bambi.
watch M. Night Shyamalan's Avatar.
Wow, Toby. Wow, we've reached this point in your M Night fandom that you're aware enough to just, yeah. That's just we all know it's bad, but you're driving the bus a few more times just to like make sure. Okay.
Okay.
Wait, The Last Unicorn. Around the time of The Last Unicorn, what else? There was like a bunch of movies. I feel like that that the group did. I could be wrong.
Well, the other one that I liked at that time was Flight of Dragons.
Flight of Dragons. Yes, that's true.
Which was the
They're
other...
Rankin Bass Productions. Okay. Yeah. So like, look at other stuff that he's done.
So Return of the
They
King,
did. Yeah, they did the Hobbit.
Yeah,
The weird
yeah.
Hobbit thing.
With-
Flight of Dragons, Wind in the
with
Willows.
the no, it almost looked rotoscoped even if it wasn't. Only because the way they moved.
Yeah.
Yeah, Flight of Dragons was my go-to movie for a long time. I didn't like Wind of the Willows. I never saw King and
Then I never. Oh, I think I saw this because it got a big release. Wow, what are these things we're looking at? They did Return to Oz. I know 1964. Okay,
The animated.
different.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh wow. On a side note, Return to Oz, the live action movie.
Tiger Silverhawks din pala.
Yeah, they were Rankin Bass Productions. Okay. Sorry, what was the last one? Sorry, Last Unicorn. We're just keep saying Last Unicorn.
Last Unicorn, Flight of Dragons.
Flight of Dragons. But these are like super old things.
I think Flight of Dragons.
These are cartoons that are older than some of you.
I think you'll appreciate Flight of Dragons if you play role-playing games.
Yeah. Ooh, which okay, then
Almadon and all that.
then it has that like special mention of the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon.
Okay, that was
Meant for targeted to kids.
Yeah.
However,
I think we all enjoyed the fact that there was a Dungeons and Dragons cartoon, even if it was the least appropriately
it wasn't Super Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, it didn't represent the game well at all. You had the acrobat, you had,
the thief
and then you had
with her hood.
you had Tiamat chasing after these kids in an amusement park,
Why not, right?
and then you had the image of this really old, bald, short guy, the dungeon master, showing up whenever these kids were around. Lots of questionable moments there. The one you mentioned by M. Night.
Oh,
No.
it's the one that people say is the movie that doesn't exist.
Yeah, Swana, just to be honest, he did an adaptation of Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's hard to find things to be happy about with that production. And I'm speaking as kindly as possible.
Wow, and then we watched Old, which was pretty bad too, but then still not as bad as that.
Yeah.
Why? Okay. Um, I feel like I'm missing something in terms of like something to.
They're all, he said nothing.
Yeah.
I get that joke.
Oh, okay. On a side note, there's like Transformers Beast Wars and Transformers Beast Machines, while still largely
Mm-hmm.
oriented towards children.
Mm-hmm.
Again, by the time you get to Beast Machines, it gets very dark.
Mhm.
It gets very dark because Beast Wars, it culminates with Megatron, because Megatron went back in time, and then his goal was to be able to change the past so that he could conquer the
Mm-hmm.
future. And then in Beast Machines they end up in a Cybertron that Megatron controls the world, and then he has only these armies of drones. That's there's Tankor and the other tanks that they're the ones on the ground. They have a bunch of things that are in the air,
Mm-hmm.
and these drone planes. And then it turned out like they were the imprisoned sparks
Mm-hmm.
of the Cybertronians, including some of the heroes from Beast Wars, who when they went back in time, they arrived at different points in time. And so it was like, oh my god, what the hell is happening? So it just got very dark.
I'm I'm still wondering if they'll ever do something with Transformers that tries to unite all these timelines.
They got very close. That was called Transformers Animated. No, I'm kidding. 'Cause Transformers Animated had deep references to
Mm-hmm.
Transformers lore, but it was treated as a kiddie
So I
cartoon.
remember now the one I'm trying to remember.
Oh,
Midnight Gospel.
Midnight Gospel, which is animation treatment applied onto a
A podcast.
podcast, which
Pendleton Ward
Pendleton Ward, as
of
they,
Adventure Time.
yeah, but oh my god, it's trippy
It's a very strong visual treat.
and very emotionally evocative.
Yes, the content is amazing. It's moving, but then with the pairing it with the visuals, it's absurd, but then it makes sense.
Yes,
Ah,
yes.
yes.
It had a very like dream feel to it,
Yeah.
like and it spoke in that surrealist language, and I enjoyed that a lot. So yeah, Midnight Gospel. Okay. Any other things on some of these lists that might be things to highlight?
Not on the list, but I think my last one is Over the Garden Wall.
Oh, okay. Which technically geared to our children, but oh my god,
Yeah.
so insightful. Like if you should have a Halloween tradition, you should watch Over the Garden Wall every Halloween.
I mean, um, there's stuff like Centaur World, which taps also on mature topics, but it's mixed into a
and it's
fun,
still
quirky
yeah,
thing.
it's still more.
But the absurdity and all that is undeniably there for kids.
Mm-mm.
Over the Garden Wall, um, it doesn't have absurdity the way absurdity is. It just has absurdity in the sense that it seems weird,
But it's weird because it's an alien world.
or
It's
it's
not your
weird
world.
because we're expecting different, but it's not. You know, because Over the Garden Wall, sorry, Center World like had they're shooting smaller versions of themselves, and then the smaller ones are having existential crises about why do we exist and all this and that, which is deep, but then it's really meant to still be humor.
Yeah, it's still kind of stupid shit.
Whereas Over the Garden Wall had you had the strange, let's say the frogs and the band and stuff, which is absurdist. But then you realize it's just showing that they were other people in the boat, and you couldn't relate with them.
Mm-mm.
It didn't try to make it a joke.
Yes.
You had the kid talking about rock facts and all this and that, but then you realize it's because he's a kid, and that's what he does.
Yeah.
So it there was a certain level of maturity that was disarming that I liked about Over the Garden Wall.
Kenny brings up Infinity Train has adult themes. Yes, largely, but I think it still works more as like it's a young adult journey, all ages project. I mean, ultimately, it's a lot of like they're correcting a mistake kind of thing, which is a very good young adult theme story.
I will admit I didn't expect to like it as much as I did.
Yeah, same. And there's like we still haven't watched the third season, I think.
I've heard Final Space is pretty good as well, but we haven't gotten around to checking it out. Owl House was another one.
Yeah, we haven't found the time to acquire it. It's also tricky then when you don't have cable TV. Like, like I feel like a lot of these are a lot easier to find when you still have that. Wow, what is this? No idea.
Super Jail
Super Jail
looks very interesting.
okay. Very visually striking, but also could be just crass humor. All right. Black Swana mentions, I'm not sure if it qualifies. There's a claymation film called The Adventures of Mark Twain. I think I've heard of this.
Isn't this the one that has the devil at one point?
Yeah.
Where the devil
Good night, Mitch. Thanks for watching.
the devil appears as this face in the mirror. Yeah, that's the one. There.
Yeah.
That was amazing. I love that.
Okay. Kenny says he tried Final Space, didn't get into it, which is sad because he likes the creator. Well, you don't have to like everything that
Mm-mm.
someone makes.
That's how it is. Diba?
That's a rock fact.
So to wrap up, because it is late and we still have work, what
Potatoes
would be
and
an
molasses.
adult-oriented cartoon or animated project you'd love to see?
And potatoes and
What?
molasses. If I wanted to see something turned into an animated series, I think I would push for another comic book adaptation, and I would go for Sex Criminals.
Mm, okay.
Sex Criminals as a comic by Matt Fraction
Mm.
is amazing. And I think it would fit in that American Western, mode of like an adult, a bankable adult animated series has to hit certain humor points, but it's surprisingly deep.
Mm.
Basic premise is that when the protagonist achieves orgasm, she stops time,
Mhm.
or at least is able to walk around in this other space that
Mhm.
where time is frozen, and then she randomly, finally she has a hookup with someone, and then they're both awake in
Mm.
this other time, so they have the same power, and it unlocks this whole world of people with superpowers achieved by orgasm.
Me, what I would probably want to see, and it would be an anthology series,
Mm,
meaning every episode might be a different art style, different creator,
okay.
but I'll basically call it Vertigo Visions.
Oh, okay.
And every episode is one of the Vertigo stories translated to the new medium. So we might have a Black Orchid episode. We might have an
Mm,
episode from Sandman. We might have an episode from um, Kill Your Boyfriend or The Eaters or all those different Vertigo titles from before. I I feel it's such an untapped market of mature current stories.
mm,
I feel it would benefit from such a variety of art styles. Some look more cartoony, some look more painted, some look more abstract. Um, it doesn't need to have the same voice actors. Some might not even have voice actors. Baka voice over lang or baka text on screen lang.
mm.
But I feel it has so much potential. In terms of, ano yan? I forgot the word again.
I feel like there were some of the bonus content that came with the DC direct to video releases had like short animation.
Mm-hmm.
So there were things like the Spectre
Mm-hmm.
and Adam Strange, which like I felt like that's like the tone that you could go for,
Mm-hmm.
but push the visuals more.
Or ano, DC did have a bunch of shorts, which were amazing.
I know like even Black Orchid had one. Like
Um,
mm, 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 mm.
I'm trying to find the name of that
Kenny
short.
mentions he would love to see an adult cartoon series about the Gorillas, the band. I kind of wanted that, but at the same time, there is that because it was that weird pseudo PR thing that the gorillas kasi aren't, the gorillas are real. they're really people. So, you can't make a story about them. They exist as they are and all that. They are literally the people making the music.
There, you can reshare DC Nation.
Ah, the DC Nation stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So I can imagine something like that, but then it's all Vertigo stories.
Yeah, I mean, like it's still, and considering, oh my God, we're approaching peak Sandman in the sense that, so we have the Audible adaptations of the comics continue. They now
Mm-hmm.
have a second volume starting with Seasons of Mist, which
Mm-hmm.
already has me excited. I've started listening to it. It just came out. I've started listening to it now,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have the live action Sandman series coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So like, there's so much. Let's do an animated series. The dreaming, and then you can just have stories of the
And for
dreaming.
me, it doesn't even have to be stuck to Sandman
Yeah, that's true.
because Vertigo just had so many good stories, really good stories. Um, it could even be the spin-offs, like um, what was that other one? Not the Dreaming. You had You had the Dead Detectives. Right, they had their own spin-off story. You had the spin-off story of the House of Secrets.
Yes.
Uh,
Now there are so many Sandman books. Though.
Yeah.
Like I haven't like caught up, and they're rarely on sale, so I have yet to like fully embrace them.
and in as much as we love the actor, I think we're we're due for a better Lucifer series.
No, let me rephrase that. We're due for a Lucifer series. Because Lucifer, the series Lucifer that is out now, has nothing to do with the Vertigo
Except for
incarnation,
names.
except for name.
Yeah.
Yeah, except for character names, not even concepts.
Yeah.
It's like that series.
Could have been, but
It's
didn't.
not bad in itself. It's disappointing as a fan of the Lucifer comics.
Mm.
It's like I don't know what this is. So, and then it's disappointing to fans of Miranda. Cause what a waste of Tom Ellis. Gary. Okay. All right.
All right, so I think that covers everything we can for now. That's an hour and 30 minutes.
That was pretty
talking
long, yeah.
All about cartoons for grown-ups. We have one last episode this week, and it is talking about.
I can't remember. It had a plus sign. That's all I know. Because you put a plus sign in all of our titles this
This is
week.
a versus, right?
Was it?
Wasn't it the topic that you wanted a versus instead of the plus?
Oh yeah, I think so. Movies and fears. No, it's your topic.
Oh yeah, you're right. Right. Pasta versus noodles was the one with the versus.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
tomorrow we'll be talking about movies and fears, everything from movies that touched on things you're afraid of, for example, me, dogs, and Cujo, or movies that explored things that um, that had scenes that always made you feel afraid about something later on.
Yeah, so Toby's super gonna have to lead that discussion because I'm terrified of horror movies.
But that is the point because Friday is the start of our dip towards horror topics.
it's Toby's most powerful month. Oh no. We can't escape horror.
But this is your chance to send in requests for topics about horror stuff. But for now, this is where our episode ends.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We had a lot of fun, and we hope you'll join us again next time.
For questions or suggestions for future episodes, fill up the Google form at bit.ly Baduy Pride Ideas. Thanks again to Kenny for suggesting this topic. You may have forgotten you suggested this, but yes, you suggested today's topic. You can follow us on Twitter, all Toby No Shade, RG Sunico.
You could also check out our blog, budoy.com, budoypride.com for all the previous episodes and stuff about us.
Feel free to continue the conversation in the comments below and let us know about your favorite adult-oriented cartoons and movies and whatnot. And be sure to subscribe for notifications, whether on Facebook or YouTube, so you don't miss our next live stream. Once again, I'm Rocky.
And I'm Toby.
And
this
this
is Baduy Pride.
Good night,